Ang petitioner na si Cruz ay kinasuhan ng estafa sa pamamagitan ng pagpapalaki ng isang public documents sa harap ng Regional Trial Court ng Manila. Siya ay nagbitiw ng isang affidavit of self-adjudication na nag-aangkin na siya ang tanging tagapagmana ng isang registered landowner kahit na alam niya na may iba pang mga nakaligtas na tagapagmana. Decision of Trial Court. After ng trial, ang RTC ay nag-acquit kay Cruz sa kadahilanan na makatuwirang pagdududa ngunit nagpa siya sa aspeto ng sibil, na nag-utos kay Cruz na ibalik ang lupa sa mga tunay na tagapagmana. Ang desisyon ay natanggap ni Cruz noong January 28, 1994. Motion for reconsideration. February 10, 1994, si Cruz ay nag-file ng isang motion for reconsideration na nagtatakwil sa desisyon sa aspeto ng sibil. Siya ay nag-aangkin na nagpadala siya ng motion sa city prosecutor sa pamamagitan ng registered mail, ngunit walang katibayan ng serbisyo tulad ng affidavit o registered receipt na nakalakip sa motion. Trial Court's Denial of Motion. Ang RTC ay nagtanggi sa motion noong April 18, 1994 na nagpapahayag na ang desisyon ay naging final and executory dahil sa kakulangan ng katibayan ng serbisyo. Ang isang kasunod na motion para sa reconsideration ay denied noong May 16, 1994 dahil ito ay lumabag sa tuntunin laban sa pag-file ng pangalawang motion para sa reconsideration. Court of Appeals Decision. Si Cruz ay nag-file ng isang petition for certiorari and mandamus sa Court of Appeals na tinatanggihan ang petition dahil sa kakulangan sa substance. Ang angka ay nagpagtibay sa pagtanggi ng RTC sa motion para sa reconsideration na nagbanggit sa kakulangan ng katibayan ng serbisyo at nagpatibay sa RTC's jurisdiction over the civil aspect of the case.
We have three issues. First is procedural proof of service. Whether the Court of Appeals erred in not finding that the city prosecutor was duly furnished with a copy of petitioner's motion for reconsideration in light of the mandatory requirements under Section 6, Rule 15, and Section 13 of the Rules of Court. Second is jurisdictional, territorial, and subject matter. Whether the trial court had jurisdiction to render judgment on the civil aspect of criminal case number 87-57743, particularly given that the subject property is located in Bulacan outside the territorial jurisdiction of the Manila RTC. Third is due process, whether petitioner was denied due process when the RTC rendered a decision on the civil aspect of the criminal case, especially in view of the dual aspects, criminal acquittal and civil liability.
For the ruling granting of the petition and remand for further proceedings, the petition was granted, thereby reverses the Court of Appeals dismissal on the basis of procedural defect and jurisdictional issues. The Court emphasized that the motion for reconsideration must be properly served with both an affidavit of mailing and the registry receipt. Directions regarding proof of service. It was held that because petitioner failed to attach both required documents as proof to service to the city prosecutor, her motion amounted to defective filing. However, considering the civil aspect of the case and absence of private counsel for the offended party,
in rationale, strict compliance with service requirements. The decision underscore the necessary for motion for consideration to be accompanied by proper proof of service as mandated by Section 4, 5, and 6 of Rule 15. The absence of the affidavit of mailing and the registry receipt renders the motion legally ineffective, thus not stopping the running of the neglementary period. Inherent overdual aspect in criminal cases. The court's reasoning affirms that when a crime is committed within the territorial jurisdiction of the court and the accused voluntarily submits, jurisdiction extends to all consequential matters, including civil liability. The inherent civil liability arising from a criminal offense as provided in the revised penal code and the rules of criminal procedures remains operative even if accused is acquitted on criminal charges by reason of reasonable doubt. And last, addressing the lacuna in the rules. The ruling fills a gap in the rules by mandating that if the accused is unpresented while the offended party is similarly unpresented, service of motion for consideration must be directly effected on the offended party in addition to service on the public prosecutor. This measure supports the interest of justice and ensures that all real parties in interest are only duly informed.